3 years into our marriage, I had finally become exactly what my husband wanted: no jealousy, no anger, no longer clinging to him at the flower viewing feast. The woman he loved fell into the lake. Without a second thought, he shoved aside the servant woman who was trying to help and dove straight in. When they stumbled back onto the bank, soaked to the skin, all eyes turned to me. Everyone expected me to cry or throw a fit. After all, I was known as the most jealous woman in the capital. My husband stepped in front of her first, shielding her, his face cold with anger as he warned me. I acted out of urgency. Do not make a scene. I will no longer indulge you to bully her as I once did. He did not know I would never make a fuss over him again. I was leaving the capital in 1 month. I smiled faintly. I understand, husband. The east chamber is closest to your study. I will have someone tidy it up tomorrow. You and Miss Lin may see if it suits you. If not, we can choose another. My tone was gentle, yet my husband's face suddenly darkened. Changle, I only saved her. Why do you speak such bitter words? Lu Jian suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly, trying to explain, as if he could not bear it now that I no longer jealousy. I did not struggle. I only lowered my head slightly. Is husband displeased with this arrangement? I never said I would take a concubine. I see Miss Lin is the Grand Tutor's daughter, a lady of noble birth. It would not be fitting for her to be a concubine. Husband ought to marry her as his wife, of course. That would require us to divorce first. I ask Miss Lin to wait a little longer. My voice was steady, as if I spoke of someone else's affairs. Divorce? Lu Jian's grip tightened, clearly furious. Changle, how can you say such a thing so lightly? I recall you once said that an official's wife must carry herself with grace. When you jumped in to save her, you must have known you would touch her, and you must have intended to take responsibility for her. I understand this well. I will not make it difficult for you. A hush fell over the crowd. Lu Jian stared, stunned. After a long while, his Adam's apple bobbed, and he let out a short, cold laugh. So this is how far your jealousy goes, with your reputation as a jealous shrew. Who would take you if we divorced? I smiled bitterly, with no words to refute him. This was what came of caring too much for a man, burning all my own bridges. Even when I truly wanted a divorce, he thought I was only putting on a show. It was enough to make one laugh until tears came. Achoo! Lin Wanna let out a delicate, timely sneeze. Lu Jian turned to her at once. Full of concern, Lin Wanna bowed gracefully. Thank you, Master Lu, for saving my life. She had barely bent when she swayed like willow catkins in the wind. Nearly collapsing, Lu Jian hurried to steady her. Are you unwell, Miss Lin? She spoke softly. It is nothing. Thank you for your concern, Master Lu. Lu Jian's heart ached for her. You have always been frail. To be soaked in cold water, how can it be nothing? You always care about not troubling others, but you never care for your own body. I knew it well. Let Lin Wanna sigh softly, and Lu Jian would see no one else. I turned to my maid. Quickly fetch spare clothes from the carriage for Master Lu and Miss Lin. Xiaocui's eyes reddened with anger. Madam, fetching master's clothes is one thing, but Miss Lin's, she was my personal maid, and would not bear to see me wronged. But she was only a maid. Some time before, she had been beaten by Lu Jian for offending Lin Wanna. On that day, Lin Wanna had taken a fancy to one of my jade hairpins, a gift from my late mother. I had been out, and Xiaocui had refused her on my behalf. For that, Lu Jian had ordered 10 strokes of the cane for insolence. Afraid she would get into trouble again, I scolded her first. Say no more, go quickly. Xiaocui wiped away a tear and left. The guests stared in shock. After a moment, whispers broke out. Has Master Lu's wife lost her mind? Lu Jian stood rooted to the spot, watching me. His gaze deep and unreadable, his long robe soaked through, his black boots caked in mud, his hair loose, water dripping drop by drop. If word of such a disheveled appearance reached the Lu manor, I would be scolded by his father for no reason. A real nuisance. I took out a handkerchief kindly and held it out to him. Wipe yourself for now, husband. He hesitated before reaching for it. Staring at me gravely, I acted as if nothing had happened, chatting calmly with the other officials' wives nearby. Soon, Xiaocui ran back with 2 sets of clothes. One was Lu Jian's black formal robe and crane cloak. The other was a plain linen dress, the kind worn by servants. I remembered we had left in a hurry that morning, and I had not packed any clothes for myself. If Xiaocui brought this, trouble would surely follow, and sure enough, it did. When Lin Wanna saw the linen dress, her nose twitched slightly, and tears immediately welled in her eyes. threatening to fall. Lu Jian's gaze flicked to her face, then to the coarse cloth, then back to me, cold as frost. Su Chang'e, is this how you cannot bear another? You must humiliate her with such lowly tricks. You have no sense of decency. His public rebuke would have chilled anyone who heard it, yet I lowered my eyes, my voice calm. Husband is right. I was careless or intentional. You know it in your heart, Su Chang'e. He was about to scold me further when Xiaotsui could not hold back any longer. She knelt forward, tearful. Master, please understand. Madam left in haste today and truly had no time to prepare extra clothes. This linen dress is all I could beg from others. Lu Jian froze. He had not imagined I had not ordered Xiaotsui to bring it. Lin Wanna immediately spoke softly. Master Lu, please do not argue with Madam on my account. I fell into the water by accident. It has nothing to do with Madam. No one is to blame. In one sentence, Lu Jian's glare toward me turned even more hateful. Su Chang'e, do you think your filthy thoughts can be hidden? Who is Lin Wanna? If I had not saved her in time, how many heads would you and your Su family have had to chop off? It took me a moment to understand what he meant. He thought I had pushed her in, others had not accused me. He had condemned me first. I found it utterly absurd. Once, I had not believed King Ju or King Yu could lose their minds over a woman. Now I believed Lin Wanna had him bewitched. Whatever she said, he believed. He did not even need her to say it plainly. A hint was enough for him to fill in the rest. Everyone could see Lin Wanna was an expert at this, all except him, who drank it in willingly, a match made in heaven. Indeed, I no longer wished to explain. I had explained too many times. Not once had he believed me. I lifted my eyes and looked quietly into his eyes, full of loathing. So, I heard my own voice, unnervingly calm. What does husband intend to do? His anger flared even higher at my tone. He pointed at the linen dress and ground out, give your outer robe to Wanna. You wear this. Maybe you will learn a lesson. Very well, I agreed at once, even giving a slight curtsy, then signaled for a servant to show me to change. Lin Wanna lifted an eyebrow at me. Secretly triumphant, I pretended not to see and turned away. It was only a servant's dress compared to everything else I had endured. It was nothing. The linen dress had no fancy decorations. I removed all my hair ornaments and tied a simple cloud bun. When I stepped out again, everyone stared at me in amazement. Xiaotsui said proudly, Madam is so beautiful, even in plain clothes. I smiled slightly. One does not praise one's mistress so openly before everyone. Just then, Lu Jian came out, also changed. He looked up and saw me smile. For a moment, his eyes softened. It had been so long since I had smiled that he must have forgotten what it looked like. I turned away at once, not meeting his gaze, but he stepped in front of me, his eyes unreadable. You wore it just because I told you to. Now you choose to obey. Can the general's manner not find you a proper dress? I said softly. Husband told me to wear this to teach me a lesson. I could not waste your good intentions. His good intentions, he would remember those words well since we married. The phrase he had used most was for your own good. We had grown up together, neighbors. His family was noble and official. Mine had been merchants for generations. Father Lu, a high minister, had refused to let him marry me at first, calling a merchant's daughter wild and unfit to be the clan mistress. Lu Jian knelt in the ancestral hall all night, then was punished so severely his back was covered in wounds. Yet his first words after the punishment were, Father, Chang'e is bright and lively. Just looking at her makes life joyful. I have never asked you for anything, only this. Please let me marry Chang'e, father. Lu finally relented, with one condition. If she proves unfit to be clan mistress, you must divorce her and marry another. Lu Jian agreed. From then on, he kept doing things for my own good, telling me to change to fit Father Lu's idea of a proper lady. As if he had forgotten the very things he had loved about me were the ones he now wanted me to change. I wanted to say, wake up, Lu Jian. As long as I am a merchant's daughter, your father will never be satisfied. But looking into his sincere, eager eyes, I swallowed the words. I cherished his affection and did not want to put him in a difficult position. I would change, but my nature was far from that of a noble lady. At first, he was patient. Then he met Lin Wanna, and his patience turned to disappointment and blame. Su Chang'e, can you not see how wild and frivolous you are? Why can you not be as dignified as her? You are so jealous. Where is your grace as a noble lady? Look how gentle and obedient she is. Can you not wipe that merchant's coarseness off your face? His disdain was longer and fouler than the oldest foot-binding cloths in the manor. In the end, He was utterly disappointed. Su Chang'e, how much have I given up for you? Can you not change even a little? I wanted to say, Lu Jian, I have changed, so much. I had not laughed in a long time. Had he not noticed? Even my father said he barely recognized me anymore, but to him, it was still not enough. Because his father was not satisfied, he thought I had climbed high to marry into the Lu family, that I loved him so deeply that being his wife was my greatest happiness. Truth be told, I would have lived far better if I had not married him. My family was wealthy, and my father doted on me greatly, yet my father's years of gentle care were undone in 3 years of marriage to him. Before I married, I did not even know what hardship or wronged feeling meant. 3 years, only 3 years. Lu Jian had taught me everything. I lifted my head to look at the moon. I forced back the tears that had not yet fallen. Su Chang'e, 3 years. What was the point of all your endurance? The boy who once held you in his heart was long dead. Can you not just let him go? The flower feast still had an hour left. I had no heart to admire any flowers. I sat there with a faint smile, like an ancestral tablet on an altar, solemn, silent. Now I was finally quiet, dignified, gracious, no longer jealous. Lu Jian said this was for my own good. There was some truth to it. Like now, I was so calm, no pain, no torment. Compared to the old days when my heart was tangled up in him, it really was better. I wondered if Lu Jian was satisfied. Just then, a maid brought plum cakes. My gaze flickered slightly. The next moment, a cake was held out before me. Lu Jian picked one casually, his tone like he was granting a favor. Have you learned your lesson? This is your favorite. Take today as a lesson. Learned my lesson? I almost asked him, what exactly had I done wrong? But what would be the point? Arguing with a man who had turned his heart would only hurt myself. Lu Jian knew exactly how to wound me. Once, when I said I liked plums, he planted a tree in the yard. He picked them for me as soon as they ripened. All through plum season, I had the freshest fruit. After the season, he made them into cakes for me. That boy had once only had eyes for me. When had it all become like this? If life could only be as it was at first sight. I could not help but sigh. The plum cake tasted bitterly sour, so sour it brought tears to my eyes. Enough, only 1 month left. Endure 1 more month, and I would leave. My father had already moved our business to Lingnan. At first, I only wanted an excuse to leave the Lu manor temporarily. Now I thought, better never to come back. Lingnan was warm and moist year-round, just how I liked it, not like the capital, where the snow was bitterly cold. After the cakes, the men invited each other to the courtyard for arrow tossing. The flower feast was the most relaxed occasion of the year. Cheers rose one after another. Lu Jian had always been the best at arrow tossing. Others could barely hit from 3 paces. He could hit 9 paces without missing once. Just then, Lin Wanna came out, also changed into fresh clothes. She had touched up her peach blossom makeup and painted her lips. The moment she appeared, everyone was drawn to her charm. I had to admit, Lin Wanna was truly a bewitching beauty. Even high-ranking men accustomed to beauties kept glancing back at her. Lu Jian was worse. He missed 3 arrows in a row. Others teased him. Who would have thought we'd live to see Master Lu miss? Has Master Lu lost his heart to someone? Xiaotsue spat quietly. Bah, a seductress. She cannot hold a candle to madam. You can tell her mother was from a brothel or pleasure house. I chided her. Do not speak nonsense. Though resentful, Xiaotsue bowed her head and stepped back behind me. I looked back at Lu Jian. He stared at Lin Wanna with burning eyes, as if he could strip her clothes off with his gaze alone. It was hard to believe such a look could appear on the usually cold Minister Lu's face. Love could not be hidden. Indeed, even when we were young, he had never looked at me like that. I finally understood. His feelings for me were like charity, like the plum cake just now, with a lecture attached. But for Lin Wanna, it was devotion, desire, craving. If I had any lingering softness for him before, it was gone now. I had loved fiercely, recklessly, but what good did it do? He was fierce for someone else, reckless for someone else. I was not a gambler, yet I had lost completely. So, Lu Jian, I am letting you go. Compared to the cheerful crowd, I in my linen dress was far too quiet. Madame Shun called me over. She had been my mother's close friend, and I called her Aunt Shun by my mother's family custom. My mother had died young, and she had often looked after me, but before, I had always made a scene over Lu Jian, and she had not approved. I knew that, so I had kept my distance. I thought she did not understand me. How could a woman not make a fuss when her man grew close to another? Now I understood. One could choose not to fuss, not even feel angry. Fussing only lost one's own face for nothing. Madame Shun took my hand and stroked it gently. comforting me. Sigh, poor Changle, Minister Lu is so foolish. I smiled. Aunt Shin, he is not foolish, he is just distracted by care. What will you do? She does not seem like a modest girl. If she enters the manor, there will be no peace. What else can I do? Divorce him. I sighed softly. I had not wanted to tell anyone, but since I was leaving, I needed the Shin family's help for something. I could not avoid her, but she thought I only spoke of divorce out of anger. Everyone knew I had once loved Lu Jian deeply. Once, yes, but no longer. The Su Changle who had loved Lu Jian with all her heart was dead. No wonder no one knew. I myself had only just realized it. Madame Shin said, "Do not speak of divorce in anger. Do not let others profit from your misery. Would not staying married also let them profit, at the cost of my whole life?" Why? She pulled me close. Good Changle, I am glad you see this now. When I saw you making scenes before, I grieved for your mother. Your mother was so bright and straightforward. How heartbroken she would be to see her daughter like this. I am happy you have come to your senses, but do not suffer in vain. Plan carefully. I thought for a moment and nodded. 1 month. That was long enough, was it not? The feast was nearly over. Guests took their leave one by one. We had just reached the carriage when Lin Wanna came hurrying over, saying she wanted to say goodbye to Lu Jian. It was strange. Lu Jian was not the host. I did not know what goodbyes she meant, but I soon understood. Lin Wanna curtsied. Master Lu, thank you for saving me today. I will call at your manor to thank you another day. Ah Chu. Lu Jian immediately took off his crane cloak and draped it over her, tying the sash carefully. Think nothing of it. Go home early. Drink hot ginger soup to chase off the cold. I felt sorry for the cloak. It had cost 100 taels of silver. Lin Wanus made cut in. Miss, our carriage broke down suddenly. We sent a servant home for new horses, but it will take another quarter hour. Lu Jian frowned. Changle, I will take Miss Lin home first. I understood now. She was not saying goodbye to him. She was telling me goodbye, telling me to part with Lu Jian quickly. I truly thanked her. Xiaotsue grew anxious when I did not speak. What about madam? It is dark. You cannot make her walk back. If you cannot walk, do you think Miss Lin can? This is what you deserve. I had told myself not to explain, not to argue, but in that moment, I still felt wronged beyond measure. I asked, what have I done that makes husband think this is what I deserve? Who really made Wanna fall into the water? Do not think I did not see. You and your maid were the only ones beside her. Miss Lin is generous and does not pursue it. That does not mean you are innocent. I said you deserve it. Am I wrong? I laughed in anger. I thought I could not be hurt more deeply, yet my heart still twisted sharply. Husband is right. Thank you for not holding it against me. I turned and left. I feared that one more second, and I would burst into tears, or perhaps I would slap him. I did not know what I might do. I only felt I was losing control, but I could not do anything. I could not ruin my plan to leave. I gritted my teeth, digging my nails into my palms. The coppery taste in my mouth and the pain in my hands cleared my head a little. I walked forward with my head down. The carriage sped past me without stopping. I could even hear Lin Wanus giggling. Xiaotsue cried in grievance. Miss, why did you not explain? It was not us who pushed her. I asked back. Even if I did, would he believe me? Xiaotsue fell silent. On the way back to the manor, Xiaotsue walked slowly with me. The streets were lined with all kinds of delicious food, toys, and bright things. They had all been my favorites once. Lu Jian had wandered the markets with me countless times. The year I came of age, my father said, Changle, you will marry soon. Stay away from young Master Lu. Do not let gossip make your future husband suspicious. I did not care. I even ran to ask Lu Jian when he would marry me. I thought he would surely agree, but he lowered his head and was silent for a long while. Marriage must follow the orders of parents and the words of a matchmaker. That day, I went to our usual wine shop alone and drank 2 pots of Osmanthus wine. My father and Lu Jian found me together. My father said, Young Master Lu, this is the real Changle. You know full well your father will never let you marry someone of her status and temperament. If you truly care for Changle, do not see her again. Lu Jian left. Father thought I was too drunk to understand anything. He did not know that even if I drank 10 pots, the words Young Master Lu would jolt me awake. I was ill for half a month. When matchmakers came again, I told father to choose for me. Father said, the Wen family of the West Market is wealthy. I've seen their second son. He is honest and kind. I said, then let it be young Master Wen. When young Master Wen came to see me, I was reading a storybook. He blushed and called, Miss Su. I then remembered we knew each other when we were little. I'd been robbed by thugs at the temple fair. He had saved me too. Streets later, I thought he was several years older. I had not expected he was still unmarried. I invited him to sit and drink tea. A loud crash came from the next courtyard. I climbed the wall and saw Lu Jian knocking all the plums off the tree onto the ground. When I said I would marry Lu Jian, father warned me the Lu manor would not be easy, that noble houses ate people alive. But that day, across the wall, Lu Jian had argued with his father for me. I forgot most of what he said, but one line burned clear. Changle is the finest girl. She deserves any man under heaven. That one line made me marry him without hesitation. I wished I could go back to the year I came of age and tell father, you were right, he had ruined our love. That was bad enough. But he had also ruined the markets I once loved, those bustling streets, once filled with joy, now left me cold because I had walked them with him. That was how I was. When I loved truly. When I let go completely. In all my years, I had only turned back for Lu Jian. Once I would never do it again. When we returned to the manor, Lu Jian was already home. He held a scroll, reading by candlelight. His page boy whispered, "Madam has returned." He immediately set down the book and stood up, his gaze searching me, afraid he would see through me. I quickly turned away and pretended to change my outer robe. I had gone back to see Madame Shen earlier. Some matters had to be prepared early. "Why are you so late? Where did you go?" he pressed. I slipped off my embroidered shoes and rubbed my calves. Walking is naturally slower than riding in a carriage. "Husband, could you not hire a carriage?" Could not Miss Lin? Why did you take my carriage to send her?" He acted as if he was not the one who started it all. I had no wish to argue. I did not wish to ruin your reputation. If others asked why Minister Lu made his wife walk while sending another woman home, I would say I wanted to stroll and enjoy the capital's night scenery. In that case, I could not very well hire a carriage. Lu Jian froze. "Changle, about Miss Lin, I meant to speak to you about this." "There is no need, husband, I understand. Only, whatever betrothal gifts she wants, you will have to arrange them. I come from a merchant family and do not know the proper etiquette. I mainly needed to speed up my plans to leave. A woman like Lin Wanna would ask for stars from the sky or the moon from the water. I had no time to cater to her." "Changle, you truly have nothing else to ask, do you have something to tell me? If you wish to speak, I will listen." "Never mind." He lowered his voice. "In 2 days, Lin Wanna will come to the manor to pay you respects. You are the main wife. I promise you she will not rank above you. Set whatever rules you must, but do not go too far." I laughed inwardly. Once he had promised me we would be only each other forever. His promises were nothing before Lin Wanna's tricks. I nodded. "I understand, husband. As for the courtyard, she wants the west chamber." I agreed. "The east chamber has been repaired. Choose an auspicious day to move there." The west chamber, there were so many courtyards. Why must she take mine? She wanted it, so he gave it. Did he truly not know what Lin Wanna meant by taking the west chamber? Even though I had already given up on him, he still found ways to break my heart further. I forced down the rising anger and replied flatly, "Very well, I was leaving anyway. East, west, north, south, let him have his way." I called Xiaotsue to help me wash up. After cleansing my face, I turned straight into a solid arm. Lu Jian had stood behind me without my noticing. His warm breath brushed my neck. "Changle, you really are not jealous of Lin Wanna anymore. Why be jealous? Even small families in the capital, any man who can eat his fill has wives and concubines. If you have only one woman, people laugh at me. Not you." I understand now. My tone held no displeasure at all. Yet Lu Jian looked confused, as if he could not believe me. "It is good you are not jealous. But never mind, from now on, our manor will be peaceful. Your husband is pleased. Come, let me help you undress." I quickly stepped aside, feigning shyness. I am unwell today. My monthly cycle has come." Lu Jian sighed and stroked my head. "Very well." He called his attendants to carry buckets of cold water into the bathing chamber. When the splashing stopped, he said, "Changle, I only want you and Wanna in this life. I promise you, you will always come first." Behind the screen, I made a soft sound of agreement. I was leaving. What did first or last matter to me? The next morning, just after the hour of the dragon, Lu Jian returned from court, and Lin Wanna arrived right after. She said she had come to thank him for saving her life. I was just about to leave the manor. I had an appointment with Madame Shen to arrange my travel permit in the Great Xia Kingdom. The Shun family handled military travel permits, the Liu family handled civilian ones. Anyone traveling more than 100 li needed one. I could never get a permit from the Liu family, so I had turned to Madame Shun. An even greater advantage of a Shun family permit, it allowed crossing the border. The Liu family's power did not reach other kingdoms. If I had to, I could go to the southern Li kingdom. Either way, I was determined never to see any of them again. I was in a hurry and paid Lin Wanna no mind. Unexpectedly, she covered her mouth and coughed as soon as she entered. Her face was deathly pale, tugging at Lu Jian's heartstrings. He frowned at me. "Is this how you receive guests?" Seeing I was dressed to go out, he asked, "Where are you going?" Not wanting him to suspect, I made an excuse. "I have an appointment at the cloth shop. Frost has come. We must prepare winter clothes." Lu Jian's expression softened slightly. "Even if you are in a hurry, you may not slight guests. Husband is right. I was thinking Miss Lin will soon join the manor and is no longer a guest." I was careless. Go then. Buy several sets for Wanna too. She is new and needs new things." I assented and turned to leave. Lin Wanna suddenly spoke. "Oh, elder sister, that white jade pendant around your neck, it is pure and warm, most nourishing. I have been weak since childhood. Might I borrow it for a few days to share its blessing?" I glanced at her. What nerve! This was a gift from my mother. Everyone in the capital knew how close I had been to her, and how young she had died. No one would ever ask for something that belonged to her. Last time she had wanted my mother's jade hairpin. Now this pendant. How shameless was she? Did she not have a mother of her own? I could not be bothered to reply and walked straight out. Lin Wanna lowered her head and whimpered, "I know you think I want to steal Lord Lu, but I only wish to serve our husband with you. Can you not stop hating me?" Lu Jian's face darkened. "Changel, Wanna likes it. Give it to her." I froze in my steps, staring at him in disbelief. "You know perfectly well where this jade came from. How can you say that?" He showed no shame. "It is only a piece of jade. Wanna said she would only wear it a few days. Besides, is it not your fault she fell ill after falling into the water? She does not pursue it. Is it too much for her to borrow a jade to recover?" I looked at him and bit out one word. "Get out." Lu Jian's face turned grim. He held out his hand. "Give it here." I stepped back, guarding the pendant. Lu Jian pried my hand open, tore it off, and handed it to Lin Wanna. Lin Wanna held the pendant, sniffling. If I did not need to recover so Lord Lu would not feel guilty, I would not ask for it. Tears streamed down my face. I no longer looked at Lu Jian. I turned to Lin Wanna, held out my hand, and spoke slowly, word by word, "Give it back." Lin Wanna shrank behind Lu Jian like a frightened rabbit. "Do not be angry, elder sister. I will not ask again." For all her words, her fingers tightened around the pendant until her knuckles whitened. I sneered inwardly, stepped forward, and snatched at it. "Ah!" she cried out, flipping her wrist. The pendant flew in an arc and shattered on the hard blue stone floor. Jade fragments scattered. I stared blankly, pain flooding my chest. The last memento my mother had left me destroyed. I was too grieved to speak. Lin Wanna clutched her chest and cried first. "Why must you lay hands on me? I was going to return it anyway. It is only something left by a dead person." Slap! I struck her across her affected face with all my strength. "Who do you think you are, daring to speak of my mother?" For a moment, all was silent. Lin Wanna whimpered and broke into loud sobs. "I know I did not grow up in the capital, and you all look down on me, but why? Before she finished, she fainted. Lu Jian hurriedly called the manor physician. After needles were applied, Lin Wanna woke weakly. Her first words, "It is my fault. I should not have fallen into the water, bringing trouble to Lord Lu and making elder sister dislike me." I watched Lu Jian coddle Lin Wanna like his most precious treasure, then glanced at the jade fragments scattered across the floor. I looked like nothing but a joke. I knelt down and picked up the pieces one by one, even broken. This was all I had left of mother. Insolent Su Changel. Lu Jian shot to his feet. "I've spoiled you too much. How dare you lay hands on someone? Go to the ancestral hall and kneel. You will not rise until you repent." I meant to spare your dignity and have Wanna defer to you in everything. "Look at you, do you even deserve it?" He stormed out with a flick of his sleeve. Lin Wanna smiled coldly and leaned close to my ear. "Su Changel, I get whatever I want. You are not fit to be Minister Lu's main wife. You'd better let go, or I will make you suffer worse." The ancestral hall was cold, lit only by a dim, flickering lamp. I remembered Madame Shen warning me to be careful of Lin Wanna. She was the Grand Tutor's illegitimate daughter, only recognized as his official daughter 2 years prior. Women like her were obsessed with the title of main wife. She had set her sights on Lu Jian long ago, and to rise, she would destroy you. Raised in filth, she could not survive without cruel tricks. Sigh. All Lin Wanna wanted was Lu Jian. She could have him. I would even hand him to her myself without a word of protest. Why did she have to hurt me and break Mother's jade? I knelt stiffly on the hard floor, my knees stinging, but the pain was nothing compared to my heart turning to ash. I was not kneeling to the Lu ancestors, I was kneeling to my mother. She had doted on me like a treasure when she lived. How had I come to degrade myself like this? How could I face her? I stared at the cold spirit tablets, the Lu ancestors flickering in and out of view with the candlelight. They seemed to mock me for my foolish longing for ending up like this. Xiaotsue paced anxiously. She wanted to fetch father to plead for me, but I had married into another family. It would be shameful to run to father still. I shook my head. Father warned me not to marry him. This is my just reward. Deep into the night, familiar footsteps approached outside. He had come. His page boy said, "Young master, shall I fetch madam out?" He said coldly, "I will go." You could not move her. I do not understand what has gotten into her. She used to beg softly for mercy. Now she does exactly as told. It only angers me. He pushed the door open. I quickly closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep on my knees. He stepped close and stood before me. The scent of pine ink on his clothes had once calmed me. Now it suffocated me. "Have you repented?" He was clearly holding back irritation. "If you know you're wrong, go back to your chamber and apologize to Wanna tomorrow." Mother's pendant had been shattered for no reason, and I was supposed to apologize. I should have been furious, but I felt nothing at all. I opened my eyes and looked at him calmly. "No, Lu Jian. I have done nothing wrong. I will not apologize." Rage exploded in him. "Fine. Perfect. If you love kneeling so much, kneel until the end of time." With that, he stormed out. I watched him disappear into the dark outside. "Lu Jian, you will never know what you lost tonight." At mid-morning, father came to visit. Xiaotsue must have secretly told him after all. Though father was not an official, many nobles and high officials begged to do business with him. He even supplied the imperial court. He carried a gentle yet unassailable dignity. Even Father Lu did not dare slight him openly. As soon as Lu Jian saw father, he hurried to fetch me. I had knelt too long. My knees would not obey. I pressed my hand to the floor, but still could not stand. He saw my swollen, red knees, and his gaze flickered almost with pity. He reached out to help me, but I turned away and let Xiaotsue lift me. Lu Jian withdrew his hand stiffly, his voice cold. "Your childish temper has not improved, I see." I looked at him calmly. "Lu Jian, if you dislike me this much, let us divorce." He stepped forward sharply. "Who would take you if you left me? Put that thought out of your mind. Even if you die, you will only be buried in the Lu cemetery." I smiled. "Is that so? Will your father even allow me into your ancestral graves? I would only disgrace your Lu ancestors, would I not?" Panic flashed across Lu Jian's face. "I will not argue nonsense with you." He lowered his head and walked ahead, kneeling all night. I had understood many things. Why, after 3 years of marriage, did we still have no children? Because Father Lu would never allow the Lu family's eldest grandson to be born to a merchant's daughter. He wanted eternal glory for the Lu name. No flaws allowed. Lu Jian was his perfect eldest son, and I was the flaw he hated most. Did Lu Jian really not know? Thinking back, he must have known when I had begged for a child to mend things with Father Lu. What had he said? "Changle, you're still young. I'm not ready to let you be a mother yet." I had found it strange. Most girls my age were already mothers. Why would he not want that? But I had been so wrapped up in him that I was moved to tears. How blind and foolish I had been. I entered the main hall. Father Lu sat stiff and stern, his face like dark iron. Talking with my father, "You must know of Yang's plan to marry the Grand Tutor's daughter." Marry, not take as a concubine. He was making her his wife. I looked at Lu Jian. Even though I no longer expected anything from him, I still wanted to hear what he would say. Lu Jian said, "Father-in-law, Miss Lin is the Grand Tutor's legitimate daughter. It would not be fitting for her to be a concubine, so father and I have decided to give her the title of wife." I breathed a sigh of relief. Then the Lu family would seek divorce. If he divorced me now, I would be spared the 30 bamboo strokes. Under Shia law, a wife could not ask for divorce first. If she did, She must endure 30 floggings. Few women survived. If this let me divorce him, it would be a blessing. I was full of hope. My father looked grave. Lu Jian swallowed nervously and looked at my father. He must have remembered how father had not wanted us to marry at first. He had begged father, swearing we would be only each other forever, that if he broke his vow, heaven would strike him dead. Lu Jian's forever had lasted only 3 years. Father did not answer Father Lu, nor look at Lu Jian. He dropped his eyes to my knees, his eyes reddening. Changle. Nose. His voice was gentle with pain. My nose stung when a daughter failed. It was her parents who suffered, but this was no time for regret. I needed father to help this go through. I nodded firmly, deeply. He understood at once. I wanted this, he said to Lu Jian. If you are to marry a new wife, then Changle will return to her family. Lu Jian hurried to say, Changle is my first wife. Though she is not fit to be clan mistress, I will still take responsibility for her for life. Father Lu smiled meaningfully and said nothing. He thought father was speaking ironically, trying to pressure the Lu family. He had always believed we had clung to this marriage for status, that we would never let go of such a powerful connection. But in truth, father and I had never cared for the Lu family's power. Father said calmly, you cannot have both. My Su daughter will not be a concubine. Father Lu waved it aside. We are not making her a concubine. Yang will take her as a Pingqi, secondary wife of equal rank. Father asked me, Changle, would you agree? I shook my head. Father Lu's face turned stern toward me. This is not a discussion, it is an order. The 6th day of next month is auspicious. We will hold the wedding then. His tone toward me was far colder than toward my father once. I had feared him because I loved Lu Jian. Now I feared nothing. I said, my background is lowly. I cannot compare to Miss Lin. Even Pingqi would demean her. A divorce between your son and me would be perfect for her. Miss Lin and your son are so well matched. They will bring peace to the manor and many descendants. Father Lu did not catch my sarcasm and thought I had softened. Your family cannot compare to the Lin estate, but the Lu family is not unkind. You need only know your place. Do not think you are above her because you married first, stirring up trouble. Keep the peace, and you will keep your title. He rambled on. I only insisted. I know I am wild and unworthy, a disgrace to the Lu name. It would be better to divorce now and preserve both families' dignity. Lu Jian cut in. Changle, do not speak in anger. Even this Pingqi title was fought for by father and me. If you behave, would I ever cast you aside? My heart twisted bitterly. My idea of good and his were not the same. So I could never be good enough. I, Su Changle, could have lived freely and brightly, yet I lost my mind over one sentence. You deserve any man under heaven. It was just sweet talk from a man who had not yet gotten what he wanted, and I believed it. In just 3 years, I was expected to be grateful, even to be a secondary wife. What did he take me for? Father's face darkened. The Lu family's kindness, my Su family will remember it well. Changle refuses. That is final. Surely the Lu family does not lack for a wife. I hope you will not forget the promise you once made, Master Lu. Lu Jian finally remembered the agreement he had made with father when Lu Jian had sworn his fierce oath. Father had only said, if oaths worked, there would be no heartless men in the world. If you suit, stay together. If not, part. Do not force it. Our agreement is this. If you ever take another woman, you let Changle come home. That was the promise. Now Lu Jian had another woman. He should let me return to the Su family. Panic flashed across Lu Jian's face. Father-in-law, you misunderstand. I am not one to tire of the old and crave the new. I have always loved Changle. She is still my wife. I was growing impatient, but I forced myself to speak gently. That would not do. Husband, do not wrong another for my sake. I spoke sincerely, and for the first time, Father Lu looked faintly pleased with me. You are sensible. Divorce is unnecessary. You know you are beneath her. Honor her in all things. Whoever bears the eldest grandson first shall be main wife. Lu Jian stared at me tensely. Changle, I will make sure you have a child first. I did not know whether to laugh or rage. I spoke plainly. Yet they could not understand. Eldest grandson, what did the Lu heir have to do with me? 3 years, and I never conceived. Now they spoke of children. Too late. I excused myself to see father out, and left the Lu manor with him. Father pressed an ointment into my hand, his voice soft with pain. This is a special medicine from the western regions. Silly girl, you knelt just because they told you to. I only agreed to the marriage because I saw you loved him. If you no longer love him, tell father. Am I Not here to protect you. I'm sorry for worrying you. Father, you will have to look after me more from now on. I smiled brightly. Father hesitated. You truly want a divorce? Yes, I want to go to Lingnan with you. The capital is too cold. I no longer like it here. Father smiled tenderly, his voice thick with emotion. You have suffered so much, haven't you? See, the one who truly loves you feels your pain as his own. He needs no extra words. Father said if I was determined to leave, it did not matter if I divorced or was dismissed. Lingnan was far from the emperor, with different customs. No one would care if a merchant's daughter was divorced or cast aside. I shook my head. No, father, if I am dismissed, I cannot take my dowry. It all belonged to mother. How can I let the Lu and Lin families take it? Under Shia law, a dismissed wife left with nothing. A divorced wife could take her dowry. I had brought 120 chests with me. I could bear that woman having the man I no longer wanted, but I would not let her wear mother's jewelry and spend our silver. Father finally laughed. True, it was your mother's life's work. Divorce may be hard to arrange. Let me speak to that old Lu brute. I shook my head again. Father, let me handle this. I only wanted a peaceful divorce at first. But Lin Wanna broke mother's pendant. I owe them a proper wedding gift. Do not worry, only one more month. Father's smile grew warmer. He stroked my head. This is the real Changle, just like your mother. The next day was Lu Jian's day of rest. Perhaps I had been too quiet lately. He felt uneasy and sought me out. He said the plum blossoms deep in Mount Li had bloomed early, and wanted to take me to see them. I did not wish to go, but I knew him. The more I ignored him, the more he persisted. If he watched me too closely, my secret plans would be endangered. The carriage traveled halfway up the mountain. As expected, we ran into Lin Wanna. She wore a pale white robe, standing in the wind, calling softly, Lu Lang. My stomach churned. Lu Jian jumped out at once, took off his cloak, and wrapped it around her. You're still unwell. Why did you come out in the wind? Tears glistened on Lin Wanna's lashes as she looked at me. I wanted to speak with elder sister. She must still be angry with me over last time. I do not want Lu Lang to be troubled. I had no patience for her act and cut straight through it. Speak with me. You already said everything outside the ancestral hall. Did you not tell me if I did not let go, you would make my life a living hell? I never said that, she blurted out, then clapped a hand over her mouth in panic. I smiled. True, you did not say living hell. You said you would make me suffer worse. Lin Wanna paled, tears streaming down. Why must you wrong me so? I am only a weak woman. How could I say such cruel things? You know they are cruel. I nodded. Even a poisonous snake knows it is poisonous. Some self-awareness, elder sister. She swayed, supported only by Lu Jian. I love Lu Lang. What wrong have I done? Why can you not bear me? Lu Jian's face darkened, shoving me aside. Su Changle, if anyone is at fault, it is me. When has Wanna ever been the wicked woman you describe? Why must you taunt her at every turn? I curled my lip and said no more. Wicked or not, he would learn once he married her. I saw no need to warn him. We continued deeper into the mountain. The path grew wilder, the woods thicker. No one else was in sight. A growing unease tightened my chest. Lu Jian, how did you know the plums had bloomed deep in the mountain? He answered casually. Wanna told me. She knew you liked them, and asked after them specially to make you happy. My scalp went cold. Turn back. I do not want to see them. We're almost there. Why are you throwing another fit? He frowned impatiently. Just then, Lin Wanna began to cough violently. She covered her mouth with a handkerchief, taking a long while to calm down. When she pulled it away, a bright, shocking stain of blood bloomed on the cloth. Lu Jian looked terrified, catching her in his arms. Wanna, she spoke weakly. It's nothing, Lu Lang. Do not worry. You're coughing blood. How is that nothing? Lu Jian spun toward me, fury in his eyes. Changle, look what you've done. You knew she was frail, yet you pushed her to this. Go back by yourself. I will take Wanna to the imperial physician on horseback. He did not even wait for my reply. He lifted Lin Wanna onto a horse, flicked the reins, and galloped away on the desolate mountain path. Only Xiaotsue and I remained. Xiaotsue, I gripped her arm, my voice tight. We must leave, now. We mounted our horses and raced back down. The hooves had barely stirred dust when 8 or 9 men in black burst from the woods ahead, blocking the path. The scar-faced leader grinned with yellow teeth, his gaze crawling over me like sticky insects. Xiaotsue screamed and stepped in front of me, only to be kicked hard by one of the bandits. The scar-faced man reached for my collar, a wave of sweat and stench washing over me, every hair on my body stood on end. I scrambled backward, my back slamming hard into a tree trunk, pain bursting behind my eyes. I trembled, but forced myself to speak steadily. Do you seek money, or revenge? The man chuckled, not answering. His eyes growing more lewd, my heart sank. No revenge, no money, they were after me. Xiaotsue crawled back, clinging to his leg, screaming, "Let my lady go, lady!" The man kicked her. The side again, leaning close, his rough fingers squeezing my chin. Pretty, though. I fought the revulsion and forced myself to look into his murky eyes. I remembered father's words, when facing a beast you cannot fight or flee, look into its eyes. The braver you seem, the less it will dare harm you. I stared straight at him, unflinching. My teeth chattered when I opened my mouth, but I knew I could not weaken. I had to buy us a way out. Hero, since you have taken me, I will speak plainly. My father is the wealthiest merchant in the capital. My husband is a minister. He froze, squinting at me, panic flashing in his eyes. So whoever hired them had not told them my true identity. This was my chance. Robbery was not a capital offense. Assaulting an official's wife was. I went on. You seek only two things, silver and women. If you harm me, my father and husband will surely avenge me. You will lose both silver and your lives. Let us make a deal. If someone paid you to take me, I will double it with twice the silver. You can have any women you want. Choose between gaining everything or losing everything. You are a smart man. The mountain wind howled through the trees, my heart clenched tight, rising and falling with each gust. After a long moment, the man spat. Fine, send your maid back for the silver. He pointed at the sun. If the silver is not here by sunset, your lady stays and entertains the men. If you dare report us to the authorities, I will chop your lady into pieces and feed her to the dogs. Xiaotsue cried and refused to leave. I pulled the jade hairpin from my hair and pressed it into her hand, whispering, "Go, quickly," tears streaming down her face. She bit her lip and scrambled down the mountain. At the Lin Manor at the foot of the mountain, Xiaotsue practically crawled through the gates, her voice raw. My lord, my lady has been captured by bandits on the mountain. They want silver. If we don't pay by sunset, they'll. Lu Jian's teacup crashed to the floor. His face turned ashen. He stood to rush out, but Lin Wanna gently tugged his sleeve. Lu Lang, her voice soft as water. Wait, broad daylight. In the capital's outskirts, how could there be bandits? Lu Jian froze, frowning deeply. You are a high official. You have many secret enemies. I fear this is a trap. Luring you out to harm you. Send 2 trusted men first, to check quickly if there really are bandits. We report to the officials and send soldiers to wipe them out. Is that not safer than risking yourself if there are no bandits? She trailed off meaningfully. You cannot report them, Xiaotsue screamed. They said they'll chop her to pieces if we do. Lin Wanna gasped softly. We only send men to look. How would the bandits know? Why are you so desperate to stop us? Anxiety slowly gave way to suspicion in Lu Jian's eyes. Men, he said sharply, ride to Mount Li at once. Check and return quickly. His attendants obeyed and left. Every moment of waiting felt like frying in oil. Xiaotsue knelt on the cold ground, trembling all over, her eyes fixed on the door. Lin Wanna, however, had tea and pastries brought out, speaking softly to Lu Jian. Lu Lang, have something to eat first. Lu Jian had no appetite, waving her away irritably. After what felt like an eternity, his attendant returned, kneeling on one knee. My lord, I rode all the way deep into the mountain. I found no trace of bandits, nor of Madame's carriage. A deathly silence fell over the hall. What Lu Jian did not know was that the bandits had been paid off by Lin Wanna. Word had reached them long before. By the time the attendant arrived, there was nothing left to find. Lin Wanna sighed softly. If she really fell into bandits' hands, can her purity still be intact? Perhaps Madame was only angry that you were with me, and made up this lie to call you back. Sigh. Even if she wanted her husband back, she should not use such a shameful excuse. Truly, a merchant's daughter knows no dignity. Come, Lu Lang, go and coax her. Do not let me come between you. Lu Jian's gaze turned completely cold. Xiaotsue looked as if she had been struck by lightning. She lifted her head, eyes bloodshot. You lie. You're lying. You hurt Madame. You wicked woman. Why? Lin Wanna covered her face and wept. Yes, I'm wicked, not as noble as your lady. Even a maid dares to disrespect me. You're just furious because your trick was exposed. Lu Jian's anger flared at Lin Wanna's words. Insolent, a lowly maid dares to frame her master. Men, drag her away. 20 heavy strokes. The dull thud of the cane fell. Again and again. 1, 2, 3. The executioner counted each blow. Xiaotsue screamed and begged. It's true, my lord. Please save madam. Before dark, it will be too late. Blood soon soaked her skirt. Lu Jian sat in the hall, his face like stone. Xiaotsue's screams grew weaker. Lu Jian and Lin Wanna, one played the qin, the other sipped tea, chatting of poetry and songs, not once glancing at Xiaotsue. Xiaotsue lay limp on the bench like a rag, barely breathing, her hand still stretching weakly toward the door. The sun sank, orange light spilled into the hall. Night was coming. The beaten Xiaotsue began to crawl outward. Lin Wanna laughed at her like she was a dying dog. Going out looking like that, do you mean to shame both the Lin and Lu families? Lu Jian glanced over and frowned in disgust. Steward, have her restrained. Xiaotsue was dragged back, leaving 2 bloody trails on the floor. She still begged, please, just trust madam once. I swear with my life every word is true. She slammed her head into a stone pillar. Blood streamed down her forehead. Lin Wanna smiled. What a loyal maid. But if you were truly loyal, how could you not die against this marble pillar? Xiaotsue had been beaten half to death. She had not the strength to kill herself. But Lin Wanna's words turned it into a cheap trick, and Lu Jian believed her. He grew even angrier. Lock her in the woodshed. Let us see how you and your mistress lie. Your way out of this, Xiaotsue begged. If you will not go, let me return to the Su manor. Heh, is this how your mistress taught you? If you cannot deceive people, you will disgrace the Lu and Lin families instead. Lin Wanna spoke, leaning close to Lu Jian. Xiaotsue slipped half unconscious, muttering, Madam, the sun setting. Xiaotsue is useless. Lu Jian froze for a moment, his heart tightened for no reason. What if Xiaotsue was telling the truth? Just then, Lin Wanna poured him tea and spoke softly. Calm down, Lu Lang. The maid only loves her mistress too deeply. She used the wrong way. If there really were bandits near the capital, would we not have heard by now? One sentence, and Lu Jian's doubt vanished. Xiaotsue was thrown into the woodshed like trash. The door locked tight. She woke on the damp straw, the wounds on her back making her dizzy. Through a crack in the door, she stared at the narrow strip of sky outside. The sky grew darker, bit by bit. Madam, despair and fear squeezed her heart with her last strength. She crawled to the window and shook the loose frame with her blooded hands. Her nails tore, her fingertips raw, mixed with mud and blood. At last, the window opened. She climbed out. She found a dog hole in the wall and crawled through. Behind the woodshed was a quiet alley. She leaned against the wall, stumbling forward step by step, each step in her own blood. She ran to the market, ignored the stairs, and found the horse market. She dared not send a message through others, afraid it would not reach, afraid it would ruin Madam's reputation. She pulled out the blood-stained jade hairpin and held it out to the groom, barely able to speak. Tie me to the horse, to the Su manor. When the old groom saw the hairpin and her state, he gasped. He asked nothing, helped her onto the horse, tied her roughly with rope, flicked the reins, and vanished into the night. On Mount Lee, the last ray of light was swallowed by the woods. The bandits lit torches, their faces leering in the firelight. The scar-faced man lost his patience and walked toward me. Little lady, sorry, your family doesn't love you, we'll love you instead. I huddled in the cold straw, clutching my clothes tight, my teeth bit through my lip, the taste of iron filling my mouth. That disgusting hand reached for me. I stared back fiercely. You want to die together? Then come. A loud crash. The already crumbling door of the ruined temple was kicked open from outside. Firelight and cold wind rushed in. A tall figure stood silhouetted in the doorway, a shining steel blade in his hand. Father, I whispered, thinking I was hallucinating. Father saw me in the corner at once. His eyes turned red. He rushed over, tore off his outer robe, and wrapped me tightly in it. He had bought me back with 10,000 taels of ransom. His hands shook, his whole body shook. Changle, Changle, father's here, father's here. His voice was hoarse, repeating over and over, comforting me as much as himself. I finally found my voice. Father, I clung to his robes, trembling uncontrollably. Father lifted me onto his back and gently placed me on a horse. The ride down the mountain was terrifyingly silent. Only when we neared the city did he speak. The world is unfair to women, Changle. Do not tell anyone what happened, not even your husband. He shook his head, especially not him. I could not speak, only tears soaked my clothes, perhaps worried by my silence. He urged anxiously, "Changle, you must not think dark thoughts. Father only has you left. Speak to me. We were going to leave the capital anyway in Lingnan. No one will know. Just forget it." Forget? Why should I forget? I would remember everything that happened today. Love can kill, hatred keeps one alive. I would live to see them pay. It was late at night when we returned to the Lu Manor. I changed clothes and sat stiffly in my chamber. Lu Jian came back very late. Slightly drunk, he lifted the curtain, saw me sitting calmly under the lamp, froze, then let out a sharp, mocking laugh. His smile was full of contempt. My dear wife was kidnapped by bandits. Was she not? Why are you sitting here safe and sound? Stop bringing these jealous little tricks out in the open. They only make me sick. He always had this gift, a few words, and he could kill my already dead heart all over again. I lifted my head and looked at him quietly, at the man I had once loved with all my heart, at his face now arrogant, full of loathing and mockery. How I hated him. Why so quiet? Did I wrong you? Could it be you really? I cut him off, my voice completely calm. "I'm sorry I made you sick." He clearly did not expect this response. He froze, frowned, and tried to speak again, but I had already turned away, no longer looking at him. It was wonderful to have a dead heart. No more pain. No one could hurt me again. For the next half-month, the entire Lu Manor busied itself with the wedding preparations. I was as quiet as a shadow, but Lin Wanna would not leave me be. "Su Changle, why are you still here? Why should I, Lin Wanna, be a secondary wife, beneath you?" I fed the sparrows in the yard, unmoved at last. She grew impatient. "Su Changle, do you have no shame? How did you like those bandits the other day? If you don't leave, don't blame me for showing you no mercy. You will not leave with dignity then." Finally, this was what I had been waiting for. I pretended to be terrified. You did this. Aren't you afraid I'll report you to the officials?" "So what if I did? Dare you tell anyone? Would anyone believe you? They'd only laugh again, say you ruined your own purity just because you couldn't bear me." "Su Changle, what can you use to fight me?" I trembled. "What do you want? Get out of the Lu Manor now." I nodded, shrinking back in fear. She looked utterly triumphant. Just then, Lu Jian came looking for her. Lin Wanna immediately began coughing violently. Lu Jian panicked, picked her up, and rushed for the physician. I could not for the life of me understand. Lin Wanna's tricks were not even clever. Why could he not see them? Was the thing on his neck just for show? 10 days before the wedding, I waited for Lin Wanna to come to me. She held such a big weapon against me. She would not waste it. I had two things she wanted desperately: wealth, and the title of main wife. A greedy woman like her would never let me go, and I was using this to set a trap for her, waiting for her to walk right in. Xiaozui's wounds were severe. That silly girl still blamed herself for losing my hairpin. I told her, if mother knew her gift saved me, she would only be happy. Only then did she calm down a little. Perhaps I had been too quiet. Lu Jian sent the steward to summon me, saying we must discuss the wedding ceremony. I replied, "Whatever my husband prefers." That made him angry. For no reason at all. The next day, he walked past my courtyard with Lin Wanna again. I leaned against the veranda, scattering grain casually for the sparrows. Lu Jian deliberately slowed his steps, his gaze falling on me. I lifted my eyes and met his stare, calm, as if looking at a stranger on the street. I looked at his face even less than I looked at the grain in my hand. He clearly froze, stumbled, and nearly twisted his ankle. Lin Wanna gasped in his arms. I lowered my head and continued feeding the birds, a cold smile tugging at my lips. Two actors. Don't they get tired of performing every day? He was probably waiting for me to cry, to shout, to question him, or at least show a little sorrow or jealousy, but he was disappointed. My heart was still water. No ripples would rise again. He left in a hurry. Lin Wanna giggled. Elder sister is truly skilled at playing hard to get. I could never learn. Lu Jian's lips lifted in satisfaction. His expression said plainly, "Su Changle, you think this little trick to grab my attention can fool me?" He did not say it aloud, but that smug look was unbearably annoying. I was honestly curious. Was Lin Wanna's soft voice some kind of immortal medicine? It could chase away all his displeasure, restore his confidence, and make him certain I still loved him. Lin Wanna did not keep me waiting long. The old lady Lin's dowry gift was simply too humiliating. Normally, such things were discussed by both families, but Lin Wanna's identity was awkward. She did not dare confront Grand Tutor Lin, much less the old lady. She even had to thank her profusely. She felt wronged and turned to Lu Jian. When I married, my 10-mile red dowry had stunned the capital. She would not be outshone by me these days. I had had people whispering in her ear. Naturally, she set her sights on my dowry. Lu Lang, why not lend elder sister's dowry to me? It belongs to the Lu manor anyway, and it will uphold our family's honor. I'm doing this to save her face too, am I not? Lu Jian was completely bewitched, nodding repeatedly. Wanna, you are so clever. I smiled gently, my voice soft. Very well. Lin Wanna thought I agreed because she held my secret over me. Her face flushed with excitement at the thought of the 120 chests soon to be hers. The wedding is in a few days. Let's move the dowry to the Lin manor after dark tomorrow. Make sure no one sees. I took out the dowry list, speaking as if I cared for her. You may not know, Miss Lin. Among my dowry are 12 rosewood tables inlaid with mother-of-pearl, 3 sets of Eastern pearl hair ornaments, and ancient paintings from previous dynasties. Lin Wanna stared in awe. She had heard my dowry was rich, but she had not imagined it was so valuable. She had never seen such treasures. Her greed could not be hidden. I added kindly, but if you send the dowry to the Lin manor now, it will go into their vault. How close are you really to the old lady Lin? If your bond is not deep, you may end up with less than 1/10 of it. Lu Jian and Lin Wanna frowned together. They both knew the tangled politics of the Lin household. I changed my tone. My family has a villa near the Lin manor. Why not store the dowry there temporarily? On the wedding day, we can carry it to the Lin gate and escort you straight to the Lu manor. This way, it won't fall into others' hands, and no one will find out. You save face, and the Lu family saves face. Perfect, is it not? Lin Wanna's eyes flickered. What about your father? Won't he refuse to let you take it back? Father only has me as his daughter. Once the dowry is mine, what would he do with it? He might even add more. Besides, my husband and I are so close. Why would I send money back to my parents instead of keeping it? Lu Jian nodded. Do not worry, Wanna. Chang'e would never scheme against me. She thinks of everything. We will do as she says. I bowed in agreement, hiding my cold smile. Lin Wanna secretly rejoiced, thinking her hold over me was real. The next midnight, father personally sent men to fetch all my dowry back. Lu Jian even clasped his hands in thanks, saying, "Thank you for your trouble, father-in-law." Father's face was dark. He did not answer him. Lin Wanna watched from the attic, overjoyed, believing it was all already hers. She did not know that the dowry was quietly loaded onto a southbound caravan that very night. The chests in the villa had long been replaced with stones and tiles of equal weight. The show was finally about to begin. The next day, I went to the Yarman's household office and submitted my divorce petition. They brought out the punishment instruments. These were not ordinary bamboo planks, they were thick canes, arm-sized. Covered in barbs, the canes had been soaked in brine. The tips glinted coldly in the dim hall. One strike, and the skin split open, the barbs digging into bone. A second pull, and the barbs tore out chunks of flesh. Most women fainted after 3 strikes. 30 strikes. Almost no one survived. Seeing those canes, I finally understood. This was not a chance for a wife to divorce. It was another way to discipline women to obey their husbands as heaven. Want a divorce? Only if you become a corpse. Thankfully, father had bribed the executioners. They raised the canes high, wind whistling, but softened the blow when they struck. Even so, after 30 strikes, my back was covered in wounds. I bit through a cloth, my mouth full of the taste of blood. Blood glued my clothes to my skin. The slightest movement sent piercing pain. Father had tried to buy me exemption from the punishment, but the law required it, and if the husband objected, the divorce would be invalid. Even father could not defy such patriarchal power. I could not give the Lu family that chance. When the clerk pressed the divorce paper into my hand, I could barely stand. I looked down at the red-sealed document, and tears fell unexpectedly. I thought I could no longer cry, but my heart still ached for the Su Chang'e who had married so joyfully, and for her worthless 3 years. With the divorce paper in hand, I went straight to Madame Shen. She handed me my travel permit, asked no questions, and only gently patted my bandaged hand. I gave her a copy of my dowry list. The Shen family had secured my father an imperial merchant contract to supply the army. My dowry would be the first capital. She said she chose the Su family because she trusted my mother's judgment that we would never cheat the soldiers. But I knew she was helping me. Every step of my revenge was ready, so, Lin Wana, Lu Jian, let us see how happy your wedding can be. I needed 2 days to recover from my back wounds. Staying in the Lu Manor would risk being discovered. I excused myself, saying I would go to the temple to fast and pray before the wedding. On the morning I left, the sky was still pale. I left through the back gate with Xiaotsue, waking no one. The cage that had held me for 3 years blurred in the morning mist and finally vanished from sight. I did not look back. 3 days later, my wounds had scabbed over. Father's carriage was lined with thick cushions. Xiaotsue and I lay and leaned, laughing and talking all the way. What would Lingnan be like? They said it was green all year, the fruit sweet, the sea blue. Miss, we'll open a shop there, you'll be the boss, and I'll call out for you. I smiled and nodded. Wonderful, a food shop. They say the food there is the best under heaven. The carriage traveled south, the scenery thinned, the world grew wider. I finally understood. What had imprisoned me was never the high walls of the Lu Manor. It was the me who had given my heart to the wrong man. It was the young love I had valued more than life, yet which was lighter than wind. Thankfully, I had finally woken up 2 days after I left. Lu Jian realized he had not seen me for days. I had not made a fuss for so long. It made him uncomfortable. He had meant to ignore me, to make me bow first. In the past, I would have blocked his study door with red, tearful eyes, but this time, I was strangely calm. He strode to the west chamber. My room was empty. A maid answered, trembling. Madam has gone to Baoyan Temple to pray. Pray for days without returning. He frowned. Fetch her. A servant soon returned. Madam has already left Baoyan Temple. Lu Jian froze, a strange panic rising in his chest. He called the steward. Did she go to another temple? Search every temple in the capital. The steward thought he was just speaking casually, as he always did about me. A few words from the new wife, and he would forget. If he reported back truthfully, he would only be scolded for bothering with my affairs. There were more than 10 temples in the capital, scattered in all directions. He did not want to waste effort for no reward, so he sent no one. But after a while, the steward saw Lu Jian pacing by the gate, glancing repeatedly outside. The steward was confused. A few days ago, his master had not looked at me once. His heart set on the new bride. Why was he so anxious now, as if he had lost something precious? The steward was sharp. He quickly sent men to search. 2 hours later, all returned. Every temple in the capital had been checked. No sign of me. Lu Jian staggered, then rushed to the eastern villa. It was next to the Su Manor, close enough to hear our household, but after listening for a long while, the Su Manor remained silent. His hands clenched tight. He could not think where I would go. He passed the old plum tree in the yard and stopped short. Suddenly, he remembered the first year, when the plums had just ripened. He had called me over. I plucked one, wiped it on my sleeve, and popped it into my mouth. The plums were not yet ripe, so sour my face scrunched up. He laughed out loud. I stared, dumbfounded. Brother Lu, you look so handsome when you smile. From now on, you may only smile for me. Why, if you smile for others, they'll steal you away. His heart warmed, but he pretended to be reserved. When would I ever smile for someone else? If you do, I'll leave you first. What had he said then? Except for Changle, I will never smile for anyone else. Then Changle will stay with Brother Lu forever, in our young hearts. That was our first vow. Lu Jian must have remembered the same scene, for he stared at the plum tree, motionless for a long time. Just then, Lin Wana came looking for him. She leaned against him softly. Don't worry, Lu Lang. Elder sister is probably upset and went out to calm down. When she's thought it through, she'll come back. The more you look for her, the more she'll put on airs. It's not that I don't want you to find her, but if you rush to look for her now, every time she's unhappy, she'll leave without a word. 2 sentences. And he calmed down again. Right. The whole capital knew how much I loved him. Where could I go? He scoffed at his earlier panic. How unnecessary. You're right, Wana, I shouldn't spoil her. But 2 days before the wedding, I still had not returned. This time, Lu Jian was truly anxious. He went personally to see father, but father was also gone. The steward said Master Su had left on urgent business 2 days before. A faint unease stirred in Lu Jian, though he could not name it. He walked out of the Su Manor in a daze and ran straight into Lin Wana. She said she no longer liked the hair ornaments she had chosen and begged him to pick new ones with her. She glanced at him and said lightly, "Don't worry, Lu Lang, she's just a weak woman. Where could she go? Travel permits are all issued by the Lu family. Are they not? We can check in a moment whether she left the city." Lu Jian immediately sent men to check. The reply came, "Madam had not applied for any travel permit." Recently, Lu Jian let out a long breath, his heart settled completely, even swelling with smug confidence. He was certain I would crawl back in shame before the wedding to apologize. I would not dare shame the Lu family in front of the entire capital. Passing a stall selling clay rabbit figurines, Lu Jian paused. They were the little trinkets I had once loved more than anything when we were young. Every lantern festival and mid-autumn festival, I'd beg him to buy me several, enough to fill an entire windowsill. I watched him bend down, pick out 2 delicate ones, and hold them in his hand. I could almost read his mind exactly. He probably thought I was just throwing another one of my old childish fits. Wave this little thing in front of me, and my eyes would light up. I'd forget all my grievances, nuzzle up to him softly, and call him Brother Lu. Then he would comfortably believe the argument was over, and everything would go back to normal. See, Su Chang'e is still so easy to please. Still so in love with him. This leaving was just an overblown fit of jealousy. He tucked the 2 rabbits into his sleeve and went specially to the Su manor. He told the steward, "Tomorrow at the wedding feast, I've already told Wanna to serve tea to Chang'e. Tell her to stop being angry. Come back early tomorrow for the wedding." The steward nodded expressionlessly. Lu Jian left the Su manor with a smile. On the wedding day, the Lu manor was strung with lanterns and packed with guests. Lin Wanna wore a phoenix crown and embroidered robes, the corner of her mouth beneath the veil unable to stop curving upward. She had finally gotten what she wanted. From now on, she would be a noble lady in the capital. Who would dare mock her now? She let her maid support her, glancing from afar at the endless line of 130 wedding chests. Besides my dowry, the Lin family had added 10 more in total, more than I had brought when I married. The watching commoners praised her non-stop. Everyone said Grand Tutor Lin valued this legitimate daughter so greatly, marrying her off in such splendor. Lu Jian wore bright red wedding robes, but he showed little joy. His eyes kept drifting to the gate. The closer the auspicious hour drew, the more restless he became. I still had not come. The whispers among the guests grew louder. The main wife was absent. How could the Lu family save face? Father Lu's face was like iron. He dragged Lu Jian over and snapped, "Where is Su Chang'e? She will come." Lu Jian's throat was dry. "Rest assured, father, she dare not stay away. A merchant's daughter, no sense of decency." Father Lu snorted, flicking his sleeve. Acting up at a time like this. For the first time, Lu Jian felt uncomfortable hearing this. "Father, Chang'e is already part of the Lu family. Do not say such things again." Father Lu glared at him and turned away. The master of ceremonies urged him for the 3rd time, but Lu Jian's feet were rooted to the spot. He kept telling the man to wait, just a little longer. Chang'e would be there any moment. I loved him so deeply. How could I truly humiliate him? It was not until Father Lu returned, dark-faced, voice tight with rage. "The auspicious hour is almost missed. You cannot even control a woman. After today, dismiss her. The Lu family cannot bear this shame. You cannot dismiss her." Lu Jian snapped back to his senses. I will proceed with the ceremony." There was no joy on his face. The master of ceremonies called out the auspicious hour loudly. The guests sat down. Lin Wanna could not see Lu Jian's face beneath her red veil. She only heard endless flattery. Her heart soared. She whispered to her personal maid beside her, "When we serve tea to Su Chang'e later, pretend to bump into me by accident." The maid was confused. "Why, that fool Su Chang'e, she must be blessed enough to drink the tea." Lin Wanna, "Serve, I want to pour it all over her." A woman whose body was ruined by bandits still dares to claim the title of Lu's main wife. Just then, an untimely voice rang out, Why does the dowry smell strange?" A lady official standing downwind covered her nose with a handkerchief. Frowning deeply, the smell grew stronger. Even the master of ceremonies could not help but cover his nose. Lin Wanna's face changed slightly. She whispered, "Perhaps the wood got damp. This doesn't smell like wood, it smells like..." "Oh!" Everyone began to murmur. The 130 chests stood beside the main hall, gold lacquered and tied with red silk, meant to bring joy and fortune. But now the stench grew thicker, unbearable. Father Lu's face turned black. He signaled the steward. The steward quickly called several men to carry the chests away, but the most foul-smelling chest was crawling with ants, dense enough to make one's scalp crawl. The servants fumbled, and the chest crashed to the ground. Red silk scattered, a bucket of night soil gushed out. Every Lu family Member's face drained of color. Lin Wanna was ready to burst into tears. Who did this? Who is framing me? Does my marrying into the Liu family upset her so much? If you're unhappy, come at me. Why humiliate my husband's family like this? Truly a woman with means. In a few words, she turned all blame onto me, though this time, she was not wronging me. I had been afraid no one would open the dowry during the feast, so I had specially added this custom-made gift. I had spread thick honey and special spices on the surface, and daubed a little yellow mud on the nightsoil bucket's lid. It only masked the stench temporarily. After sitting for a while, the smell escaped. By then, no one cared about etiquette. Everyone scrambled back. The red candlelit hall was instantly left with only a flood of filth. Lin Wanna whimpered, ready to cry. Lu Jian was seething. The steward opened another chest. Inside was a box full of sharp stones. All color left Lin Wanna's face. She rushed forward madly and tore open the other chests herself. 1, 2, 3, all filled with bricks and rubble. Only the 10 chests from the Lin family were real, and they were shabby. The scene fell dead silent, then erupted in uproar. Lin Wanna's face shifted through a dozen colors. She suddenly shrieked, "No, someone swapped my dowry husband. Send the officials at once. Don't let the thieves get away." She gestured frantically at Lu Jian. She was hinting I had swapped the dowry, that he should catch me quickly, but dared not say it outright. What is the meaning of this? Father Lu roared, face livid. The servants who had carried the chests fell to their knees, stammering, We carried them straight from the Su family's villa, as the new madam ordered, from the Su family's villa." The guests understood at once. Their glances at Lu Jian and Lin Wanna were full of contempt and mockery. Stealing the main wife's dowry to prop up a secondary wife was shameful enough, but to be tricked with bricks and filth out of politeness, no one dared laugh aloud. But the way they covered their noses and looked away was more humiliating than any mockery for the Lu family. Su Chang'e. Where is Su Chang'e? Lu Jian's forehead veins bulged. The steward said quietly, "Still no sign of her. Useless. She has no travel permit. Can she fly?" Father Lu had seen more storms. He had the steward move the guests to the side hall and quickly clean the main hall. Father Lu's expression toward Lin Wanna was cold as frost. Truly no lucky omen. One sentence, and Lin Wanna shuddered, tears bursting forth. She had not heard anyone say that to her in a long time. Her eyes turned even colder. After cleaning up, the auspicious hour had long passed. The Lu family had no heart for the wedding. The Lin family had lost all face. As for the guests, everyone mumbled congratulations. But all were watching a joke. The master of ceremonies held the ceremony hastily. First bow to heaven and earth. Lu Jian stood side by side with Lin Wanna, still veiled. He could not help glancing back again. The gate was still empty. Second bow to parents. His heart began to race out of control. Cold sweat beaded on his palms. Bow to each other as husband and wife. Lin Wanna bowed gracefully, but Lu Jian stood frozen like a wooden post, his gaze still fixed on the gate. "Waiting for me. Lu Jian, I no longer want you." Lu Lang, Lin Wanna called softly. The master of ceremonies urged quietly, "My lord, you must bow." Lu Jian did not seem to hear. Father Lu sensed something was wrong, and quickly hissed a warning, "Have you not shamed us enough? Finish the ceremony at once." Lu Jian finally came to his senses and bent stiffly. At that very moment, a commotion erupted outside the manor gates. His eyes lit up. "Chang'e has returned." The steward scrambled in, gasping, and whispered into Father Lu's ear. The usually calm Father Lu's face blanched. "Stop!" A powerful shout silenced the entire hall. My father appeared. He strode through the gate in plain robes, not a single smile on his face. The festive music cut off abruptly. All the guests stared in shock. Father Lu suppressed his anger and forced a smile. "Brother Su, thank you for coming. Please take a seat." My father's voice was clear, cold, and steady. "I dare not call you brother. I had no wish to come here at all. But your new bride wears jewelry that belonged to my daughter's mother. It is time to return them." Lin Wanna flushed, but lifted her chin stubbornly. "This was given to me by my mother. Why do you say it's Su Chang'e's?" My father calmly took out the dowry list. If the guests had only mocked the bricks and filth before, they now had a new joke to savor. My father ignored the murmurs and went on, "Besides the bride's jewelry, I have come to retrieve my daughter's entire dowry." The hall erupted. Retrieve the dowry. On the groom's wedding day, the bride's father coming to take back her dowry. It was an unheard of humiliation. Father Lu's face turned deep purple. He flew into a rage. forgetting all decorum. Absurd. Su Changle is a daughter-in-law of the Lu family. Her dowry belongs to the Lu clan. What right does a relative have to demand it back? Even you, her father? No, once married, a wife obeys her husband. Master Lu. My father cut him off sharply, pulling a document from its case and unfolding it before everyone. Su Changle has endured 30 bamboo strokes in accordance with Xia law. Her divorce from Lu Jian is hereby approved. On the snow-white paper, the 3 large characters divorce certificate and the bright red official seal blazed into every eye. Lu Jian stared at my father, rigid. Impossible. Changle would never leave me. She's just still angry. Father-in-law. Where is she? Tell me, I'll go to her. She would never divorce me. This paper is a trick. Father snorted coldly. What right do you have to go to her? You are not worthy. I will not believe it unless Changle says it to my face. Father Lu declared firmly. Yes, let Changle speak. She loves Yang so deeply. How could she want a divorce? This document is forged. The guests murmured in agreement. Everyone in the capital knows Minister Lu's wife loves him dearly. Who would believe she asked for divorce? The Lu family seemed to gain the upper hand again. Father was furious. I did not expect the Lu family to be so shameless. Changle endured the cane. She pressed her own fingerprint. Master Lu, do you need me to have the household office verify the records? Father Lu waved a hand. We will verify them. But not today. If you disrupt Yang's wedding again, do not blame me for being merciless. All merchants are crafty and deceitful. It is true. You scheme to ruin another woman's wedding just to keep your daughter as main wife. Despicable. In one sentence. He painted my father as a meddling fool here to ruin the wedding out of jealous spite. Father's face reddened, but he could not defend himself. Sigh. All the trouble I had caused in the past now fell on him. Just then, Lu Jian suddenly stared at the gate and shouted in joy, Changle. I stepped slowly into the main hall. After days of traveling, I had returned just in time. Lu Jian ran toward me. I knew you would come back. Stop this foolishness. I will let the past go. Look, I even had Wanna prepare tea to serve you. Father's face changed. Changle, what are you? We had agreed he would handle this, and I would go ahead to Lingnan, but I had turned back halfway. How could I miss the moment of revenge if I did not return? Who knew how this would end? I had returned in too much of a hurry to tell him. He thought I had regretted it. His face was filled with sorrow. I smiled at my father. How could I miss such a lively wedding? Lu Jian rushed to me. He did not even hear my words, smiling already. Changle, I told you you would come. Tell everyone the divorce paper is fake. All my old promises still stand. I will make sure you bear the eldest son first. I will have her honor you above all. Come. He reached to grab me. I stepped aside. Cold and clear. Minister Lu, every word on that divorce paper is true. No, impossible. How could you leave me? Lu Jian lost all reason, roaring like a madman. The guests were stunned beyond words. Father Lu was the first to recover. Even if you are divorced, the Su family has no right to disrupt Yang's wedding. Master Lu, please continue the ceremony. Just return my dowry. The Lu family holds high rank. Surely you will not steal a divorced wife's dowry. At that, Lin Wanna finally snapped. She tore off her red veil. Her delicate makeup could not hide her terror and panic. The dowry was worth tens of thousands in gold. How could she compensate for it? Looking at her, I only had 2 words. Fool. The secrets she held against me, I dared not speak them. But did she? If I still loved Lu Jian, they were weaknesses. If I did not, they were crimes. Lin Wanna stared at my calm face, nearly exploding with rage. Su Changle, you wicked woman. I glanced at her lazily. Oh, I did not plan to charge interest on the dowry. But since you insult me, I will now add it. You shameless whore. Whore. Slap. A clear, sharp sound. Lu Jian had struck Lin Wanna across the face. Who told you to insult Changle? Did I not tell you she married first? She is the main wife. You must respect her. You dream. Wake up. That whore has already thrown you away. Slap. Another blow. This time from me. Call me that again. I had wanted to slap her for so long. Finally, Lin Wanna no longer cared about dignity. She lunged to scratch me. But Lu Jian stepped in front of her, blocking her completely. My father stood calmly the entire time. He had wanted to send men to help me, fearing I would be hurt, but Lu Jian was protecting me, and that enraged Lin Wanna more than anything. Sure enough, Lin Wanna rolled her eyes and collapsed onto the ground, pretending to faint. Hoping Lu Jian would pity her, it gave me my chance. I stepped forward and slapped her left and right. Hard. She could love Lu Jian, he could betray me, but how? Dare she send bandits to ruin me? Even beating her senseless would not vent my anger. Lu Jian moved to stop me. My father said slowly, surely you do not think faking death lets you escape your debt. At those words, Lin Wanna squeezed her eyes shut even tighter. No matter how I hit her, she refused to open them. The scene descended into chaos. Father Lu roared, enough, stop. My father also said, very well, cease. You may fight after we leave. First return the dowry. Father Lu snapped. Outrageous. You have gone too far. Yang, handle your own affairs. He wanted Lu Jian to stall for time. To save the Lu family from further shame, he had no idea where to find the dowry now, but Lu Jian looked like a man whose soul had fled. He did not hear his father at all. Changle, you cannot be this cruel to me, he begged me with his eyes. I asked coldly, Minister Lu, surely you do not think affection excuses you from returning my dowry? Phut. Lu Jian's throat sweetened. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. The Lu family had lost all face this day. Father Lu was so furious he could have swallowed his own son alive for bringing this disaster upon them. But Lu Jian ignored everyone, staring only at me. Changle, tell me, all those good times, were they fake? When you said you would stay with me forever, was that all a lie? His voice shook, pitiful. The past was real, I said quietly, looking at him. But that Su Changle is dead. He stared at me silently. 2 tears suddenly rolled down his face. Lin Wanna saw this and immediately squeezed out a few tears, speaking weakly, elder sister, how can you be so heartless? Even if you divorce my husband, you should not ruin our lucky day. How will the Lin and Lu families face anyone besides who has actually seen this dowry? She meant to stir the Lin and Lu families against the Su clan, while shifting blame for the missing dowry. Father Lu caught the hint and snapped, true, who knows if your dowry list is real? We'll check every item in due time. Some guests echoed him. Fair enough, she cannot just claim what she wants, it's just jealousy over her husband remarrying. Su Changle's reputation as a jealous wife is well known. The voices grew uglier. The Lu family breathed a sigh of relief. The tide had turned in their favor. Just then, the silent old Madame Shen spoke. Her voice was not loud, but carried unquestionable authority. I would have kept silent, but the words spoken are too unfair. I must speak for Changle. Old Madame Shen's voice was steady. Master Lu, the items on this dowry list were officially inspected and recorded by the government. The Su family has used them as capital for military supply business under Imperial Commission. For a moment, absolute silence fell. Who would dare touch capital for the Imperial Army? Embezzling funds for royal military supplies was a crime tantamount to treason. The Lu family's last shred of hope shattered. None of the guests, not even Father Lu, had imagined I would go this far. No matter how the Lu family struggled to save face, I had already sealed their fate, leaving no room for escape. Father Lu collapsed into his armchair, his face ashen. Lu Jian knelt on the ground like a fool. Old Madame Shen was the first to break the stillness. Master Lu, let me speak plainly. Since the divorce is official, you must return the dowry. Her tone was gentle but firm. Father Lu stood trembling. There was no way out. He had to return it, but the Lu family did not have it. In utter desperation, he bowed low to my father, his face crimson, practically begging, Master Su, it is not that the Lu family refuses. The dowry has been dispersed and some damaged. We cannot return it as it was. Could we convert it to silver? By now, he knew it was a trap, but he had no choice but to jump. My father did not answer. He turned to me instead. Changle, do you agree? Father Lu had to turn to me, humbling himself. Changle, will you grant the Lu family this mercy? I knew full well that even if I pushed them to death, they could not produce the actual dowry. It was already in Lingnan, but I pretended to hesitate, then spoke slowly. For Master Lu's sake, I will agree. A total of 100,000 gold. 100,000 gold. The number stunned every guest. The Lu family prided themselves on being clean officials. They had little stored wealth. 100,000 gold was nearly all they owned. Yes, I named the exact sum of their entire fortune. Watching them fall silent, I asked softly, does the Lu family object? I would not force you. Father Lu ground his teeth. No objection. Thank you, Miss Su. I smiled faintly. You should thank me. I wondered if he remembered how he had scorned and tormented me, if he had ever imagined this day. That 100,000 gold was what I had earned in 3 years managing their household. Taking it back this way was only right, and I had also planted a fatal seed of doubt in this so-called honorable official family, how could a famously clean minister's household produce 100,000 gold in an instant? The emperor would never assume it was my earnings. A perfect two birds with one stone. My father carefully put away the divorce papers and bowed to Father Lu. Master Lu, the silver shall be delivered to the Su manor within 3 days. Is that acceptable? Father Lu swayed and nodded numbly as we stepped over the high threshold of the Lu manor. Dusk was falling, the last warmth in the wind faded away. Winter in the capital had truly come. We did not stay long in the capital. My father entrusted the silver collection to a trusted steward. At dawn on the 3rd day, we left quietly. All the pain and shame stayed behind in the capital. The carriage traveled south, the mountains softened, the waters grew clear. We traveled slowly, taking more than 2 months to reach Lingnan. Our new home in Lingnan opened onto a lush green lychee forest. My father's business prospered. I sometimes helped with the accounts. Most days, I wandered with Xiaotsue, as I had when I was little, trying new pastries and fruits, or watching exotic southern ships at the port. Cooking was indeed my gift. The pastries I invented, blending northern and southern flavors, became famous souvenirs across Lingnan. About 2 months later, after dinner, my father handed me a thick letter, sent by fast horse from old Madame Shun. He said, "She said it might amuse you." I broke the wax seal. It was in the old lady's own handwriting. The bandits have been eliminated, all ringleaders executed. Miss Lin met bandits on her way home. Her father, Grand Tutor Lin, upheld justice and ended her life to preserve the family name. Father and son Lu were impeached by censors. The emperor is displeased. Master Lu has been reassigned to an idle post, suffered a stroke, and is bedridden. Lu Jian has shaved his head and become a monk at Baoyan Temple in the capital. I set the pages aside calmly. What did it say? My father asked. I sipped my warm tea. Just old news. Evil is repaid in kind. Father laughed. Another one of your plans. Naturally, how could I let those who hurt me live peacefully? I had asked Madame Shun to capture the bandits. I knew Lu Jian would go to her looking for trouble. Let him see the evidence and let evil destroy itself. Father smiled. Your methods are just like your mother's. I hear Lu Jian personally chopped the bandits who harmed you into pieces, and he arranged for Lin Wanna to be killed by her own father. They deserved it. Can such a man really become a monk? Lay down the butcher's knife, become a Buddha on the spot. Do you believe that? Asked the Buddha. It is none of our business. A year later, in spring, I married the second young Master Du. He was gentle and steady, like the warm earth of Lingnan. He loved making honey tea for me, loved holding my hand. A new acrobat troupe came to the port today. Shall we go watch? Just hearing him speak made life feel bright. Another year passed. I gave birth to our first son. He cried loudly, kicking his little arms and legs, but quieted the moment I held him, smiling foolishly at me. I could not bear to put him down. Master Du frowned at the baby. Babies are such a nuisance. You're not here to steal your mother from me, are you? You know I fought so hard to win her. If you dare compete with me, even if you're her son, I won't go easy on you. My father held his grandson, laughing until his eyes crinkled. Our daughter was born on a warm winter morning, quieter than her brother, always smiling. Master Du could not put her down. How can a baby be this lovely? She looks just like your mother. My pastries unexpectedly became a tribute to the palace. When I returned to the capital, I stayed with old Madame Shun as her guest. On the second day at the Shun Manor, a monk from the general's estate asked to see her. Madame Shun let me sit behind a screen while she received him. The monk held a bronze alms bowl, wearing a faded blue robe. He lowered his eyes and said, Amitabha, seeming empty of desire, but when he lifted his gaze to the old lady, his eyes held nothing but longing. Madame Shun was not surprised. She calmly invited him to sit. His voice was dry and shaky, almost imperceptibly. Benefactor, I only ask one thing. Is she well? He did not even dare ask where she was, only humbly if she was safe. Madame Shun spoke softly. She is very well. She has married again, a son and a daughter. Her husband loves her dearly, married, with children. The monk's head shot up, his eyes instantly red. Is it second young Master Du? Madame Shun nodded slightly, surprised. You know him? The monk lowered his head, his shoulders shaking violently. After a long while, he looked toward the screen and whispered, Good, if she is happy, that is enough. I heard that a famous enlightened monk had come to Danfeng Temple. the most renowned temple in Lingnan. It was not far from our home. Master Du and I took the children to burn incense. He held our son, who looked just like him. I held our babbling daughter. He teased her soft little hand beside me, laughing at her giggles. I had just popped a sweet into my mouth when Master Du laughed too. Changle, you're sneaking sour snacks again. I blinked guiltily. How did you know? He wiped the corner of my mouth fondly. You never remember to clean your mouth, do you? The wooden fish's rhythm suddenly broke, messy. After a long pause, it began again. Someone prayed devoutly. May she be joyful year after year. May she always live up to her name, Changle, eternal happiness.